Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to today's episode of What's the Deal with Adam and Neil. I'm Adam.
I'm Neil.
It's great to have all of you. If you are new to the show today, and this is the first time you have ever clicked play or clicked the episode,
I don't even know if you have to click it. You just have to scroll to it.
It's true.
So if it's the first time you scrolled to it.
First time you ever scrolled to it, Facebook has given you this, and you thought this was a paid ad.
Yeah.
And you were thinking, I cannot wait. What?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's like, well, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And usually you don't watch ads, but you're like, I'm going to watch this one.
I know. So this is a 30-minute ad.
We're selling these awesome turkey mugs.
Be prepared.
Yours today for 5 payments of $19.99 plus shipping and handling.
For a free autographed picture of Neil, please submit. I don't know.
With a mustache.
Good memes, if approved. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, today's going to be awesome. It got cold last night.
It did. So how did your plants hold up? I actually thought of you when I woke up this morning, and I saw it was freezing out, and I felt that, and I thought, uh-oh. Just the other day, you told us how you planted some of these upside down tomato plants.
Yeah, upside down.
So did they survive?
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I think last night was warm enough. I did wait to plant my garden today. So today's like, from here on out, it's going to be like 40s plus at night.
Yep.
So I waited till today. But my herbs and tomato.
It's herbs.
Herbs, or as they say across the pond, herbs. My herbs.
I'm like, excuse me? What was that?
Right. No, we're watching a show right now. It's like where they take a restaurant, and it's like a dying restaurant, and they go in and like redesign it and bring some new items on the menu and like try to like flip it to be profitable. And this one guy on the show he just calls them herbs. It's like an American guy, and that's
awesome.
He always just says herbs.
And I'll tell you, what if we just pronounced words that all have the silent letter?
Yeah.
Just pronounce it.
Yeah.
Like, forget this proper pronunciation.
Yeah.
Just go with so if you're at the doctor, well, maybe don't say this now. I was gonna use pneumonia as the
Oh, nice.
Just call it pneumonia.
Pneumonia.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
Or I'm trying to think of another one.
There's a lot with PH.
Yeah, like pterodactyl. Pterodactyl.
Yes.
Yeah. So speaking of my
actually really funny. Yeah.
garden, I've got this year I just like tilled up a garden. My plan has been to do some raised beds and like have a nice little garden layout. And this year I just had so many other projects I didn't get to it. So, but I was walking through yesterday and I was like, okay, I want to start like designing what it's going to look like. So I started imagining it, and I went inside and started drawing it. So I put it on paper, and after I drew it, you can go ahead and show it, Jason. I realized I drew the Millennium Falcon.
Yes,
from Star Wars. So this was like what was in my head, and the like thing around the whole thing is a fence.
Wow.
So
what's the thing at the bottom? The beard part.
Oh, that's like a what do you call those things? Like a trellis thing that you walk through, so the plants will grow over top of your head.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. At first I thought those were stairs up into an alien spaceship.
That would be sweet. Yeah, so that's how you like get into the garden that way. So it'll be like pretty cool. I'll have some tomatoes growing like above your head, and then those are all raised beds in the middle, and then the thing around it is a fence to keep the deer out.
Wow.
But that's what was in my head, and then I drew it, and I was like, man, I made the Millennium Falcon garden.
Yes, you did. That's amazing. So you should somehow overlay that on top, and then satellite imagery will pick up and everything.
Yeah.
Some guy built something. Looks like he's building the Millennium Falcon.
I'm just gonna have my whole yard be Star Wars themed.
There you go.
So,
but only from space.
Yeah, only from above.
Like from down low, it looks just what it is. But from up high, all of a sudden it spells something out. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every different, like,
characters.
that'll be called the Millennium Falcon Garden. Like, I'll have a little sign,
Yeah.
and people will be like, why do you call it these things? And after we walk through the whole property, then I'll show them an aerial photo, and I'll be like, this is why.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
You have big dreams
I
for
know.
the property. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I like
Since
that.
I have redesigned what it's going to look like, I didn't love it, but it would be cool to have that.
Yeah. Nice. Well, today is Worship Wednesday.
It is Worship Wednesday.
Yeah. Which means we should talk about worship to some degree.
Let's talk about it.
I'll lead into this.
Okay.
So, worship is not just singing. So
Sure.
I don't have something related to singing. But I was reading the Bible and I was reading Ezekiel, and it got crazy. So it's like I'm trying to treat it like, I'll say this: it's difficult to read. It doesn't read like reading the stories about Jesus walking among others and spending time with them. It has a lot of prophecy in it, a lot of other language in it. That's kind of strange. Well, for years it's always been tough for me.
Yeah.
But then it kind of came to my mind this week how I don't mind reading sci-fi or reading like fantasy novels. Like sci-fi fantasy, not sketchy fantasy novels. I don't know what people might think when they say that. All of your dreams are
Wow,
that weird stuff. All right. So anyway, I don't mind reading that, and I thought, well, if I can read that stuff, and we're talking random characters' names, and they're doing all sorts of random stuff, and going on adventures, and stuff. It's like if I can read that, I can read Ezekiel. So I've been reading through Ezekiel. Man, it just got weird here. And I've been reading this in a couple different translations to help me understand, like, is what I'm reading what happened?
Yeah.
And I'm still in the investigation part, but at the beginning of his ministry, in the first few chapters, I don't know if you recall this, but God commands him. So he calls him to this like task, right? Wow. And it's funny because I think a lot of people would want to they'd want to be called, like, God, use me, call me to preach, Lord. Well, what if he told you to do what he told Ezekiel next? He said, I want you to lay on your side for 390 days, I believe, and like lay there, and that's gonna simulate. Like he has them do other things too, build this, like draw the city out. But I want you to lay on your side and simulate what it's gonna look like when Israel is sieged for that long. One day for you, Ezekiel, for every year that they're gonna be in this situation. And then he says, and then after that, I want you to go to your other side for 40 days and lay there and like in parallel what's going to happen for Judah. And then he tells them to make food, or like a very, very limited diet, and then to cook it over human feces. And to simulate, again, like what the people, when they are in this situation of famine and everything, like what they're going to be doing. So Ezekiel's like, God, I've never defiled myself like that.
Yeah.
And God said, okay, then use cow dung instead. He's like, okay. So he does this. And I thought, oh man, and that's just the beginning. The next part, then he has to shave his head and his beard off. And I was like, whoa.
That's the worst part.
Yeah, I know. I was like, forget that. Forget laying there and eating food off a poop. How about
shaving your beard?
Shaving your beard, man. So he did that, and then he did different things with it, and all of it. It actually made me think of a few things. One was what I was saying about how a lot of people want to be called the preaching ministry because it's public, and they have a pretty serious issue they need to resolve with God regarding being up front. They want to be up front for people's like approval. Yeah. And that's no good. So anyway, that's one thing. Like, what if God called you to be a preacher? I think it's a really great passage to go through if you did a class with like first-year seminary students or something. Like, all right, all of you. But the other one is interactive teaching. So a lot of people talk about having a teaching method that is like experiential and participatory, and it's image-driven. It has all these things. Well, I think there's no better like participative sort of learning than to like lay on your side and then preach for the next for the next year that way. Like,
That's crazy.
that, my friend, is commitment to, like, I made a little boat on stage, you know, or I drew a picture, I drew a diagram on an easel, and that was my way of being like, look, we're gonna engage in this right here as a group. So, yeah,
That's
anyway.
crazy.
Yeah.
That I can't even lay on my side through the whole night, like on one side. I'm like tossing and turning all night, so I can't imagine.
Actually, I was thinking of some of those things too. I'm not sure exactly how that fully played out,
sure.
but yeah, for 390 days on one side and 40 on the other, and he had to be strapped down. Like they tied him. It says, "I want to place cords on you so that you can't turn from one side to the other." So for the 390, he was on his left side, and the other one he was on his right side, and
Man.
yeah. Anyway, it's really like, this is the end of chapter 4. It says this phrase talking about what will happen, like why he's simulating this. And he says, I'm going to do this that they may lack bread and water, and they're going to look at one another in dismay, and they're going to rot away because of their punishment. And you know, and that's God's judgment on his own people because of their decades and generations of rebellion. So people who just jump in on the story of the attacks from Assyria or Babylon, or what is this? I thought God's here to protect his people. It's like, well, you haven't been reading what's been happening for generations with awful decisions and just completely out of line behavior by mainly Solomon's kids, like, and grandkids and everything. His lineage when they took over, they made a lot of bad decisions. Yeah. So
it's crazy. I mean, it makes me wonder what level of obedience I would go to for the Lord, because I feel like it would have to be very audible for me to lay on my side for 390 days. Like, if I just felt like God was telling me to do that, it would be really hard to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I heard in a burning bush, you know, God talking to me, I'd be like, okay, that's for sure you.
Yeah. But even if that happens, I think then you still doubt.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
You're still like, well, okay, well, yeah, I know I met you at that burning bush, but what you're asking me to do is pretty high order. And I don't know, because even Moses says stuff along those lines, and we've talked about that in our sermons, and then, all this kind of stuff. It's really interesting. With that, I thought that a lot too, reading Ezekiel. What if God said that? Because I struggle at times to fully share what he's asking me to preach on. At like a certain point, or to take it a certain direction. Mainly, when I say that, actually, a lot of people probably think that means talking about hell or talking about like a hard truth, and that's not the case. It's actually sharing personal stuff. Like, because there's a sense of like, and even in a way that might be different than others. I know some people struggle to open up because they're just kind of like a hard shell to crack. That's not me. I don't mind sharing. It's that, like, there's always more to a story than what you can pack in, and when it's really personal or really meaningful, like meaningful in a I don't know, like an emotional way, it's like you can only say so much, and there's way more to that story than you can give usually in a message. So I usually struggle to share that stuff, but I try. I mean, I can't recall specific times that I haven't done that. I just kind of walk through. It always feels like I was like, I don't know what that was about. I shared that. I feel like I was very obedient. I don't really know if that landed. And maybe that was just for me. I don't know. But so that happens a lot too. But if I can share, or I should say, if Ezekiel can do what he just was doing here in this part of the story, I'm pretty sure I can talk about how I stubbed my toe.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it was. I think in terms of worship for me, I've been learning a lot about just like worshiping God in the things that I do every day. And like particularly the other day I was turkey hunting, and a lot of times when I'm hunting, it's easier with deer hunting because I'm like sitting there for long periods of time, so I can have like a good solid like devo time with the Lord. Turkey hunting is very like interactive, so you're constantly kind of like moving and stuff, and so a lot of times it can like distract me from really like being with the Lord. Like, I'm always trying to like listen for things and different stuff, but like when I'm and a lot of people are like this with nature, but when you're out in nature, being able to see like the things that God created, and and away from like the routine world, you're able to kind of like focus on the Lord. And
Sure.
so for me, the other day, it was just a really special time, just being out there, and like I was walking through these different areas and just like really having a solid time, just like I'm hunting, but I'm just like focusing on the Lord. And I don't know, I'm kind of like rambling about the experience, but it was just like a good solid experience. And I got to this area. It's managed by the state of Virginia, basically. And there are these like timber cut areas that were cut a couple of years ago. And there's all this laid over logs and sticks and different things. And it's like miles of this stuff and like hundreds of acres. And I'm walking through, and I wanted to like cut through this area to like go down because of where I thought the turkeys would be. And I went to step over and almost stepped on a copperhead, and I'm like miles back by myself. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going in there now. And then I circled back around to this one area, and I went to like walk down this path, and there's a huge black snake laying there. And so I was like, all right, well, I got to keep going. So I went, and in order to get from where I was back to my truck, it was like a mile from there to there. I had to go straight through that timber stuff that was laying down, like where the snakes were living. Otherwise, it would have been like 3 miles to go back out. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And I was just like, Lord, I know you're like, you protect us. And I was just like, that was just like my mentality. Like, I was like, I know you can protect me, and I know you're going to protect me from these snakes. And like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, even if you don't, you're still God.
I like that. So that's like a country man's version of the burning coals walk.
Right.
Yeah, I don't walk across burning coals. I run a mile through a snake-infested timber. And I say,
oh man,
bite me.
Yeah. Come at me, snakes.
Yeah.
No,
I hate snakes.
I know. It was
when
funny
you told
though.
me that field, my first thought, actually, I started thinking about all the snakes that might have been in there, but you hadn't said that yet. So I thought, oh wow, you got lucky. Turns out that was like a big point of the story.
Yeah. So it was like the first 10 feet, I was like so nervous, and I was like, man, like I should just go the long way out. And then I was like, you know what? God's gonna protect me, and just kept going. And so it was like a silly little thing, but it was just like the whole walk through there, I was just kind of like reminded of the Lord's protection. I was reminded of, like, I would get to these areas where it was like I'm like engulfed by these like little shoots of like new sticks and different things, and it was like trudging. And I was reminded of the different times in our lives when we feel like we're like trudging through the thick of life, whether it's hurt, pain, sin, whatever it is, we feel like we're just like engulfed. And then if we like just pause and look around, we'll see like there's a way out, like there's a clearer path. We just have to like not focus on the now, but focus on the what's to come. And so it was like a cool experience, just like going through that whole thing of like thinking about the Lord's protection, understanding His provision, and then like getting to the path at the end of that whole like mile-long walk, and seeing like how clear and open it was. I was like, man, like God always provides this like clear path if we focus on Him and trust Him. So it was cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this: with turkey hunting, what is your weapon of choice?
Shotgun.
Well, what kind of shotgun?
12 gauge.
What kind of 12 gauge?
Oh, you want the specifics?
Yeah. What kind of gun do you use?
So right now,
You're not kidding me.
12 gauge.
Okay, can we be more vague? All right. He may or may not use a gun. Can't say gun on Facebook.
Bare hands.
Yeah. Well, I have a follow-up question to this, but I was just curious what you use.
So right now I use a Benelli Nova pump action shotgun, and it's a 12 gauge. I like it because it shoots really well. I don't love it for turkey hunting specifically because it's a pretty heavy gun. It's really good for like ducks or target shooting, stuff like that. But but with turkey hunting, a lot of times you like get to say, or I mean, a lot of times you're moving and carrying the gun, so and like through timber. So
it's like a workout.
Yeah. So that's tough. But then like when you go to sit down next to a tree and wait for the turkeys, a lot of times you're like waiting with your gun like on your knee.
Yeah.
And that is, like, silly as it sounds, can get like heavy on your knee.
Oh yeah.
So I've got like little bruises from where my gun's been sitting.
Nice. Nice.
But
classic. That's how you know, right?
Yeah.
So here's my follow-up question. If you were a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
ooh, good.
and you had to use one of your weapons,
yeah.
Which one would you use for
if I
turkey
was-
hunting?
All right, so I was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, so I'd be a little more like agile.
Yeah.
And and one of my specific weapons.
No, like either a nunchuck or a sword.
Oh.
Yeah,
So I can use one of the turtle weapons.
basically, yeah. Like which turtle would you be?
I like the idea of the nunchucks.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought that it's really cool watching people like spin them around their arm.
But how are
and
you
stuff.
supposed to get a turkey if you're like that close?
You like you can like wrangle it like around their neck,
that's true.
like toss it,
I could see
and
that.
it like wraps around their neck.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you get close enough to a turkey? If you were not.
If I was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
If you were
I
not a
could.
ninja, or if you were not a ninja and not a turtle, and not a teenager, and not a mutant.
Just me.
Yes.
Could I personally?
Could you take one down with a nunchuck?
No, definitely not. Well, I mean, if I went to the Rose
Yeah. The giant turkey farm.
house.
Yeah. Just start chucking nunchucks in there, see what happens.
No, I've been probably, the closest I've been is like 10 yards from a turkey. So, I mean, that's from like here to the chair right there. So, I think that's close enough to throw nunchucks at them. But they're so like, their eyesight and reflexes are so good that the second you would like move to throw them, they would dart. But if he was like strutting and like had his feathers up, and turned his fan away from me, I could get ready and then fling him the second he turns around.
Okay. I think you should carry a spare pack, and that way, you're going to shoot, and
I missed.
it's jamming up on you.
Yep,
Bust out the nunchucks.
exactly. What's funny about turkey hunters is, so when you're turkey hunting, you're trying to shoot a really tight pattern, because a lot of times, you want to shoot them in the head. That's kind of what you're aiming for. And you're wanting to reach out to like 30, 40 yards is kind of like your like max distance.
Yeah.
And in order to reach out there with a shotgun, you need like a tighter pattern. So you put a choke on the shotgun, which keeps it tighter and makes it shoot further. The problem with that is that the closer they get, the tighter the pattern is. So a lot of people that miss turkeys, and I'm talking like professional turkey hunters, miss them when they're like 5 to 10 yards away. So they're like right there, and you go to shoot them, but your pattern is so tight. If you're not like directly on their head, like I mean, like to the hair, like you're gonna miss.
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
So funny. I've seen so many videos of that.
Yeah, I could see that. Whereas if you just busted out some sawed-off shotgun, you just take it down right there in front of you.
Or nunchucks.
Or that's true.
Right. But yeah, a lot of guys, they set their decoys up to where they are like a little further out from them.
Yeah.
So, because you could, if you're hunting on a field, like a lot of these professional, or like a lot of these TV productions, they have big farms and they're able to hunt turkeys pretty easily. So they'll put their decoys out, but they want them to stay, like 10 to 15 yards away. So they'll put them that far. Whereas you could put them closer to you, but the turkeys are going to come closer to you if they come to the decoy. So
True. I feel like Blake should start a TV show over there at the farm.
You should.
You just get one out of the thousands of turkeys. Just get one, let it loose, kind of run around.
Yeah.
And it's like a
I
video.
got an albino turkey.
Yeah, because videos, you can make it look however. Right?
Yeah.
Movie magic, right?
Right.
And so it could be like him hiding behind something, and then just turkey's going and takes it out.
The funny thing is it would probably come to him, like if he had some food or something, so he could pretend like he's like Rainbow, and he like calls the turkey in, and then just like takes his knife.
Yeah, it turns out, he's got food right there.
Right.
It was like, hi. I know you. You've raised me.
Right. He can have a show where he only hunts albino turkeys, and he would just like takes one of their turkeys to like random different places, and he's like, I found another albino.
I wonder if albino turkey meat tastes different.
I don't know.
You know, like they could sell that in the market for 3 times the price at Thanksgiving.
Maybe it's
Because people would be like, oh,
really white.
This meat has like extra, really white meat. Wonder what? I wonder, like, it's, they're like, it has extra nutrients.
Yeah,
And so people,
it might.
yeah.
I wonder, because with the any albino species, their eyes are pink, you know?
Yeah.
So I wonder if it also changes the pigment of the skin. Could.
Yeah, I don't know.
We were in DC 2 years ago, and walking down the street, saw an albino squirrel just hanging in some random place in DC.
Wow.
It was nuts.
Yeah, it is. I want to see an albino deer in green. Like,
There was, where was
I
that?
heard about one over off of Swift Run or so.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the guys from church who live over there were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about it, like in their yard. And so I was like, man, that'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty
It'd
sweet.
be like this legendary, I don't know. It would just be strange.
Yeah.
It'd stick out so easily.
It'd be interesting hunting and seeing an albino deer, because I feel like I would be so like caught off guard. I would think it was like a goat or something, and I wouldn't shoot it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah,
I'd have
or
to be
like,
close.
you know, like people sometimes accidentally shoot people when they're hunting?
Yeah.
Like, that's always been a little bit of a mystery to me.
Yeah.
But if it was an albino deer or something, and like, even more so, I just assume it might be a person. Like, if you're gonna get
Yeah.
confused, like, okay, probably a goat or something, but if
Yeah.
it was like somehow appearing to be a person and standing, and like, oh, like my first thought would not be albino deer. It
Yeah.
would be, oh, that's somebody who chose
guy.
to wear a white jumpsuit hunting.
Why is this guy in my woods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, good.
Yep.
Well,
There's
hey,
all the turkey hunting information you need.
that's probably enough for the day.
Right there.
And when's the season over?
Saturday.
Okay.
So last week I might go one more day. I'm not sure.
Got it.
And this year, the wild turkeys, I've been trying to hunt on public land for the first time,
Yeah.
and I've seen turkeys and/or heard turkeys every time I've gone. And I've had 3 opportunities where I could have shot one. One time, sorry, you guys probably don't care about this at all, but
I'm intrigued, and so
I've got the mic, so I'm talking.
your friend sitting here. So, hey.
Yeah. So the first time, so you could only hunt until noon in Virginia, up until like halfway through the season, then you could hunt all day. And that was during the noon time. And I heard these turkeys scratching in the leaves. I got set up, and it was like 11:45, and then they made their way in, and at literally, no joke, 12:01, I had a turkey that I could have shot right in front of me.
Yeah.
But I didn't pull the trigger because I'm a pastor.
Yep.
And I'm better than that.
Good ethics.
Yeah. So there was that one. And then this was only like a week ago, I was out, and they were gobbling really strong. It was like the one morning that I've had out there that they've been like gobbling like crazy. And so I chose this one, and I chased after him and got to this place where, you know, he was calling and I was calling, and he was coming towards me. And so I get set up, and there's like this hill, and he popped his head over the hill, only his head. And tom turkeys, they change the color of their head from like red to white to blue, and hens have like a bluish colored head. And so when they're blue, it's hard for me to distinguish when I only see the head, if it's like a hen or a tom.
Yeah.
And so I only saw the head, and it was the blue color. And so I didn't shoot, and I was like, but he was close enough, I could have shot him. And I was like, I know this is the bird that I've been hearing, but in the off chance it was like a random hen that was out there, I didn't want to shoot it.
Yeah.
And for like 2 minutes straight, it was just right there. And what it was doing is trying to see where the other turkey was, because I was pretending like I was a turkey.
Yeah.
And because there wasn't a turkey right there, it got sketched out and left.
Yeah.
But then the second it ducked its head down, it gobbled. So I was like, I know that's the bird, so when he pops back up, I'm gonna shoot him.
Yeah.
And he didn't pop back up.
Oh, wow.
And then there was, I can't remember the third time, but I had one more opportunity. where I could have shot one. But so it's been I've learned a lot about turkeys this year. So it's been a fruitful season, although I didn't shoot one yet. I still have one more day, but
Yeah.
we'll
I
see.
like it. So last question then relating to shooting it. Well, why not use like a handgun?
I'm not completely sure that it's legal. I don't know.
Well, okay. So if it wasn't like a legal element to it.
It might be, but I don't think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Like,
I think that
say it's 10 yards out.
I can't give you a great reason. I think maybe the handgun would ruin the meat a little bit more.
Oh.
I don't know.
I was just thinking if you have a shotgun that's set to, hit something 30 yards out, and you're going to shoot over the turkey unless you get it right on.
Yeah.
Because you have to choke on the shotgun. What if you just bust out a little handgun?
It could happen.
Little revolver. All right. Well, that is
I
the
don't
question.
know.
I'll just
the
leave
question.
that out there. I'm
Yeah.
sure somebody actually has a real reason.
Steve Ferguson will know.
Yeah. Well, yes, both on the legal side, but also I think I'm more interested on the sportsmanship strategy side of things. Like, there's got to be reasons to it other than we just don't want people out there running around with assault rifles and
Handguns in the woods.
handguns shooting turkeys.
That would probably be, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Hey, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
That's a good way to end the show. I wish we could delete the last 3 minutes. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Have a good afternoon, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.